Hey guys, my name is Jay Goldsmith. I'm a veterinarian in Charleston, South Carolina, and I want to spend some time today talking about culture. Culture is this huge buzzword. Everybody's talking about it. You can read it all over the Harvard Business Review. People are talking about this all the time. And why? Because it's very important. We didn't used to speak about this very much, but now we are realizing the significance in it. And so what I want to do is I'm going to talk about this in a three-part series. And today I'm going to talk about how do we define culture. On the second part, we'll be talking about how do we create culture. And on the third part, I'm going to be sharing with you, especially for people that are new grads or someone going into a new practice, what is your role in being a part of that culture and making it a very good and positive culture. So to start off, culture defined. I believe culture is the personality and the character of your company. So every company has a culture. You don't get to decide whether you have a culture or not. It's just you have a culture. And a lot of times I've been able to, and you can probably walk in to different restaurants or amusement parks, and you can very quickly determine the culture of that. So what I mean by that is personality. So is it friendly? Is it welcoming? Are they happy to be there? Are they patient? Are they in a hurry? Do they care about cleanliness? So you can walk into any restaurant and you can figure out those things really, really quickly. So culture jumps out at you. And so in a veterinary practice, it's really important. We are in the service industry. And so one of the things I always tell people, I always ask new veterinarians that come in, anybody who's doing our onboarding, ask them the question, so who is our competition? And they always say, well, it's this veterinary practice down the road and this veterinary practice who's, over across the bridge. And I say, yes, you're correct. But who else is our competition? Our competition is any customer service place they've ever been to. So we're competing against Chick-fil-A. We are competing against Disney. We're competing against all of those because all of our clients have had a customer experience at a place like that. So they're comparing us to all of those. So culture matters. Culture matters when it comes to customer service, as well as our enjoyment going to work every day and the people that we're around. So Peter Drucker put this best. He says, culture eats strategy for breakfast. One of the things that I see is we spend a lot of time strategizing, all right, how do we hire the best people? And how do we get our average doctor transaction higher? And let's make a strategy about our process of flow, all these different things that we work on strategy, but rarely do people have a strategy for culture. It just kind of happens. We just kind of happen into, and a lot of times it just follows the leader. So whoever the leader is, it kind of trickles down, but as a company or practice gets bigger, it's harder to maintain that culture because there's more people involved. And I'll tell you, one person can wreck a culture. It's kind of scary. I talked to a friend of mine who was a veterinarian the other day, and we were talking about, he was talking about buying a practice, and he said, but the culture's a total wreck. And I was like, well, what do you think you could do? He said, well, I think the best thing to do with a culture that's a wreck is just to burn it down and start over. So I don't know if I really believe that, but it's hard. It's a hard thing to turn a culture around, but it can be done. So to summarize, culture is important. Every company, every practice has a culture, and this is how we define culture. Next episode, we will talk about how do we create culture. So how do we have an influence and how do we create the culture that we want to have.